We're live on YouTube.
We're live on YouTube. Hey, what's up, YouTube? Facebook, what's going on, everybody? This is Dr. Schilling with this week's Wednesday Wellness Minutes from Secoya Health, and we are super excited to bring some information to you regarding healthy snacks. And a lot of information out there is misleading. There's a lot of labels out there that people can read and get some information from and say, oh, this has got to be the best thing since chipped ice or sliced bread or whatever you want to say. What you want to think about is you need to dig a little deeper. It's not simple enough to say, oh, this looks fantastic, it's got to be good for me. And then you end up eating it, and you're all of a sudden your guts are rumbling, you might have to run to the bathroom, or you start getting a little drippy drip in the nose, or you sneeze. Most people think that people sneeze because there's something in the air. And in fact, it's oftentimes coming from a histamine reaction in the body. Therefore, if you ever eat or drink something and you get a drippy nose, have to blow your nose, if you have to sneeze, if you get a headache, if you feel woozy, if you feel hyper, if you feel tired, those are all adverse reactions of what you've eaten or consumed. Keep that in mind, because this is going to help you be guide rails for you as you move through and navigate the waters of all the different foods out there. Most foods on the shelf are designed to get you addicted to them in some way, shape, or form. Either it's the crinkly packaging, it's the crunch, it's the mouthfeel, as they use in the technical term in the food industry. If it's the amount of salt in there, it's all about getting you to basically consume more of it without even thinking about it, right? They add extra salt to mess with your hypothalamus, to change how your hydration is and your satiation centers, and all this it's all science. Assume that the food you're buying in a package is designed to get you to eat more of it until proven otherwise. So that's a good rule of thumb as far as going forward. Good guide rail for you. Amelia spearheaded this operation, and she loves that when I call her out. She's all smiling. What you want to appreciate is she was inspired because she's trying to navigate the waters of what to eat and things like that. Wanted to cover some points about some common pitfalls and then give you some basic ideas on what to focus on when you're out and about, and in the event you cannot plan ahead. I admittedly have fallen off the wagon from making my own bars at home, and I need to get back on that because I have yet to find a single bar on the market, save maybe one, that does not cause some type of adverse reaction, whether it be, like I mentioned before, a runny nose or gallbladder reflex into the neck, or tingling in the shoulder. Just pay attention to your body. Your body's going to tell you all the clues you need to know. It may take you a while to get cleaned up and get away from the inflammation and stuff like that, but it's going to happen. Let's start off with Amelia's first one is veggie patties, right? I was a vegetarian at one point. I think I was even vegan at one point, dare I say. But what you want to appreciate is these are processed. And anytime you're trying to eat a protein patty to act like a burger, there's going to be stuff in there to make it taste the way a burger tastes, or make it have a feel of meat. It's going to be a texture, things that they put in there. Oftentimes they have additives and fillers and things like that. And if you guys have any comments about the snacks you have, by all means, type them in the comments below, and Amelia will read them off and we'll talk about them. Because this is important for you feel empowered to understand how things might be affecting you. Therefore, if you are interested in an opinion other than what you found in yourself, let me know. Let us know, rather. So avoid veggie patties, right? Morningstar Farms and Boca, I used to eat those by the case. You go to Sam's Club or Costco and buy them by the packages and just fire them up 3 at a time. Most of that is not, I think they may have shifted to non-GMO now, but big issue with packaged foods is you have to look for the non-GMO verified label. That is a huge issue. If you're not getting the non-GMO verified, then what you're getting is actually genetically modified crops, specifically soybeans and corn and things like that. Huge issues with genetic modification, which means that they have gone in there, tinkered with the DNA to make it more resilient, more a hardier food, so it can weather different bugs and different storms and things like that. Keep in mind, if it doesn't say non-GMO verified, you're probably going to get a GMO product. And I know that everybody in the U.S. says, oh, they're perfectly fine, there's nothing wrong with them, but there's a reason why the European Union banned them. You don't want genetically modified products or crops. Packaged meats and or deli meats are something you should typically stay away from. Those are reconstituted meats. So basically they've taken an animal, and it's going to sound pretty gross, but they ground it up, and then they pressed it into this form, and now they're just slicing it off for you. And it sounds pretty awesome, right? Like turkey breast broken up is a different story. But you never want to eat meat that's been out for 3-4 days. So if you're going to go to the lunch counter at the supermarket, ask them, how long has this been here, right? So I'll give you a good idea of how many different things have started growing on it. Because anytime food's sitting there, stuff's going to start growing on it. You can't euthanize an animal. Bye, Carolyn.
Bye.
Just trying to limbo out of here. And you can't not euthanize an animal or hunt an animal in nature and not have it start rotting within a short period of time. American Indians used to harvest, Native Americans I suppose is probably a proper term, I don't know what the correct term is anymore. But you need to harvest these organs and things like as fast as you can and then salt them so they stay preserved and things like that. So stay away from deli meats as best you can. It's not really good for you. If you're going to eat bacon or something like that, eat it seldomly or infrequently and make sure it's nitrate free, things like that. Avoid that kind of stuff because those are not going to help out your liver and things like that. Energy bars are a huge issue. As I mentioned before, I haven't found a single bar on the market that works in every aspect. Most of them are too high in sugar and carbs, too low in fat. What I have found is, like Garden of Life, there's actually a weight loss bar that they have, which is really low in carbs and higher in fat and protein, which is actually not very problematic as far as a clean system goes. So if a clean system can handle it, usually any other systems can handle it as well without any issue. You want to avoid things like a lot of sugar. Gluten-free is one thing we're going to talk about. If you've shopped in the gluten-free market, if you've shopped in the supermarket for gluten-free anything, there's a common thing about, it's like a zero-sum game. If they take something out, like the gluten out, they can put something back in. So gluten-free foods are typically very high in sugar, and as a result, they're going to be very problematic for your system. If you can stay below 25 grams of added sugar a day, every day, that's going to be a really good goal for you. And I'm not talking like if you eat a yam or a Yukon Gold potato and then look at your macros chart and say it's got this many carbs in it. I'm talking about packaged foods with added sugar in there. So if it says no added sugar, then it's usually going to be derived from something like dates or something like that. That's huge in bars. So keep that in mind when you're looking at these labels. What are the first ingredients? Is it tapioca syrup? Is it dates? Is it some type of oat? What is it coming from? Now remember, rolled oats. Oat is like a hard kernel in the field, and they pull it out of the field and then they roll it and they press it flat. Which what that does is that increases the surface area from a hard kernel on the outside that's harder to digest. It flattens out, it makes it very easy for your body to digest. So it's going to spike your blood sugar really fast, which is going to spike your insulin, which is going to inflame you. Okay? The body has a normal process of balancing blood sugars because all excessive sugars are toxic to the brain. So it needs to balance those very closely. Multigrain breads are a pretty big pitfall. Even the hallowed, maybe not hallowed, but the coveted Ezekiel breads, which are, they've been blessed by prayer and things like that. Fantastic stuff, but they still have vital wheat gluten in there. And I don't know for sure if they're non-GMO or not, but remember, if wheat is made in this country, there's a very strong possibility that it's been damaged and that our internal ecosystem is having trouble with it. Therefore, stay away from multigrain breads. Canyon bread is about the one brand I trust for gluten-free breads. It has low sugars, if you will. It's going to be pretty impossible to get rid of any sugar in a gluten-free bread unless, of course, you're making it at home, because what they need to do is flavor it to a level that the average person is going to be finding it something other than a piece of cardboard, right? So nobody wants to eat a piece of cardboard. People think, oh, popcorn, what a great snack, right? It's light, fluffy, it's crunchy, low calories, but don't play the calorie game. Focus more on how your body feels. You shouldn't feel any better or any worse after you've eaten something. Keep that in mind when you're eating these things. The most important thing you can take out of this is, how do you feel after you've eaten something? Are you feeling good? Are you feeling not as good? Are you feeling hyper? Are you feeling flat? Are you feeling like you want to take a nap? This is going to be your body's indication that something's not working for you. These are very helpful hints. Applesauce. I can't tell you how many parents give their kids applesauce, right? And of course, even if you get the one that's it's only applesauce, right? There's no added sugar. Fantastic, but there's still a ton of sugar in there. And even though it's ground up, you now have to chew less, and the fibers are broken down because it's been spun in some type of machine, and now it's going to be more effective as far as challenging your body. Fruit snacks and fruit pouches, right? Horrible ideas, right? Eat the piece of fruit. Sorry, I got a mouse net saying hi to me. These things are basically liquid cocaine for your liver and gallbladder, and it just totally knocks them for a loop, right? Especially kids in winter. If you want to keep your kid out of in daycare, at school, healthy, not snot-nosed and coughing, sneezing, hacking, and carrying on, limit the amount of sugar they have. Make sure they have only maybe one piece of fruit a day and keep it to an apple, berry, or cherry. And basically make sure that they are not getting processed foods. Because if it's a ground up fruit in a pouch or in applesauce, it's a processed food. There's no two ways about it. It doesn't matter if it says it's only applesauce. It doesn't matter. It's still the same thing. Protein bars, Watch out for whey and soy, especially if it doesn't say non-GMO verified. These are very important because these things can be very problematic for your digestive system, which is your largest immune organ. 70 to 80% of your immune system lives in your gut. Therefore, if you are adding inflammatory foods like genetically modified wheat and corn and soy into your gut, it's going to affect your brain, and you're not going to be able to think very clearly, and it's going to affect your overall resilience. What else does Amelia have here? Flavored instant oatmeal. All right. If it has, if it says flavoring on there and it doesn't say what that flavoring is from, you can be assured that it was made in a lab and it's a chemical and it's not really food. Okay? If they can say that it's flavored with X, Y, and Z, then you have an idea what it is. But I'm pretty sure that none of them say that. Therefore, if it says flavored in some type of fashion, like brown sugar flavored or vanilla flavored, right? Take your pick. All kinds of them. Oatmeal, I would suggest, is probably not a great snack for anyone because it, again, is a rolled oat. It's a processed food. It's going to spike your blood sugar pretty quick. But chips of any sort are another thing you want to avoid. It doesn't matter if it's made with avocado oil. It doesn't matter if it's cooked in coconut oil. It doesn't matter if it's a sweet potato chip or a rhubarb chip. What are the other ones? Like the Terra brand, Terra is a brand of chips. They look fantastic. They're very well marketed. They look delicious. When you walk by them, like, wow, I should eat that. It's a vegetable. It's still been fried. It doesn't matter how you slice it and dice it. It doesn't matter if it's a sweet potato or a turnip or a beet. It's still been fried. So stay away from them. You're going to do yourself a favor. If you need something, make a kale chip at home. Take a head of kale, chop it up, put it on a cookie sheet, sprinkle a little bit of higher heat oil, like a rapeseed oil, and things like that. Maybe even avocado oil that can handle pretty much medium heat. Don't go any higher than 350. Put it in the oven. You come out with a crunchy chip. It's fantastic. Little salt and a little bit of pepper on there. You'd be amazed at how good a kale chip can taste. I know it sounds probably disgusting to the most average person, but kale chips are pretty tasty. Give them a try. Rice crackers. Rice crackers, basically the biggest issue there is that it's a flour. Avoid things that are made with flour. We'll get to that a little bit later again. If it's made out of flour, it's going to, boom, spike your blood sugar. And then what's going to happen? Here comes your insulin, here comes your inflammation cycle, because it needs to get that out of the system. The rice crackers, although they are tasty and crunchy, they are not good for you. Trail mix, big, oh, this is great. Like, we're going on a road trip, we're going up to the Boundary Waters, or we're going to go camping or whatever. Let's grab some trail mix. So we're going to grab some yogurt-covered raisins, and we're going to grab some roasted nuts in there, and some roasted sunflower seeds, and banana chips, and sesame sticks, and oh boy, here we go. Right? All this stuff is horrible for you. It doesn't matter how delicious it looks and tastes. If you are away from it long enough and go back to eating, it's like, think about it this way. It's how you feel after you've overloaded on Halloween candy, right? We're not too far from Halloween. If you eat 3 or 4 pieces of that candy, you're gonna feel a gut ache. That's right, kids get sick when they eat too much of this candy. Trail mix is no different. So don't think just because it's raisins and yogurt balls and all the other stuff we talked about that it's good for you. It's not. Bananas, I would say stay away from. If it doesn't grow around here and you live here and you grew up here, you have a certain gut microbiome. You have a certain system that's accustomed to digesting these things. Bananas, last time I checked, do not grow in Minnesota. They grow thousands of miles from here in tropical areas. They're harvested, put in trucks, shipped across the planet. Forget about the carbon footprint, which, of course, we're not talking about global warming here. Let's get out of this conversation. But there's a ton of stuff that they spray on these fruits. And I know everybody's like, oh, but the banana has a thick rind and things like that. It doesn't matter. Bananas are probably one of the worst fruits on the planet. And everybody's like, what about the potassium? What about it? It's so good for you. It helps me avoid my cramps. Well, you should ask yourself why you have cramps in the first place. It's not good enough to say, I'm taking a banana a day so I don't have any cramps. Well, that means you're putting a Band-Aid on something and you're not actually fixing the problem. If you need help with that, let us know. Bottled salad dressings. The ladies here like to bring in salad dressings on a regular basis, and they've tried just about every one of them. And oftentimes they found challenges with them. But what's the one brand you guys like? Primal. Primal's a great brand of salad dressing that seems to be very little as far as problematic goes. Primal Kitchen with avocado oil. You heard it here. Amelia is an expert on dressings. She's passionate about it, so Primal Kitchen with avocado oil. It's fantastic stuff. But you can make a simple vinaigrette at home. My wife, Sarah, does it all the time. I mean, she's a whiz at it. She'll pull down the olive oil. She'll put on a little bit of vinegar, a little bit of balsamic, salt, pepper, lemon. I don't remember what else she puts in there. And just whips it up. I mean, literally. She makes her own Caesar. These things, although at first they seem difficult, like Pinterest is a godsend. I don't always trust the recipe. We don't always trust the recipes on there, but they are awesome as far as getting you information about different ideas, right? Even if you just go to the grocery store and buy a bunch of stuff and then, I don't know what to do with this. Go on Pinterest and type in salmon, asparagus, recipe, all right? Sheet pan dinners are great. Throw a little bit of parchment paper on a sheet pan, put the protein on the middle, veggies on the outside, bake it, you're good to go. It's a really simple dinner idea. Snacks that are gluten-free, we talked about, we alluded to that. Watch out for the sugar content in there. Not all gluten-free pastas are great either. There are a couple brands out there. The one, I don't know the other two that we buy, but Tinkyata is one of them that we purchase. It's got a little bunny rabbit on the front. That's a good one. But best thing to do is just to try them out and figure it out. And again, make sure it's coming from a good source. Food labels are a big issue with shopping. Anything you can find a label claim on, you want to stay away from. If it says heart healthy and diabetes association approved, you better run the other direction. Because what they're doing is it's called wagging the dog. They're saying, look over here, look what it doesn't have, because they don't want you to pay attention to what it does have. It's a very important point when you're out there shopping. So when we go out there and take pictures of the shop for the doc, what we're looking at is, are there any label claims on these? And we can't get away from all the time. Even one that's even like a bar that I mentioned before, which one was it?
Weight loss.
Yeah, the weight loss bar. Garden of Life, thank you, Marla. Basically, it says weight loss, right? There's another label claim right there. But what it's doing is helping you understand that that's going to help you balance that part of your biochemistry. So here we go. There we go. So these are the ones that I purchase if I haven't been making my own bars at home. It says weight loss right on here. High protein weight loss, right? So it's 14 grams of plant protein, chocolate fudge. Who doesn't like chocolate, right? I'm a chocoholic. I got it from my dad, so I blame him. But certainly not. When I make bars at home, I make them with 5 ingredients or less. Okay, this I'm going to venture to say has about 25 to 30 ingredients in here, which we'll get to in a moment. Okay. But anyway, stay away from label claims. Anything that's a soft drink, you definitely want to stay away from. The low-calorie or zero-calorie drinks, like the Gatorade Zero or the Powerade, stuff like that, those are all garbage. Now, we have one, where is it? The Endura? I don't know where it is. Yeah, it's up there. Oh, it's over there. Anyway, Endura is a great opportunity to have hydration support when things are dehydrated, like wintertime, right? We're in Minnesota. It's dry as a bone. I mean, it's sprinkling snow outside, but there you go, Amelia. There you go, Sly. She's smooth. So Endura is a great one. It's a healthy form of a Gatorade. Now, it is not low sugar, but when you're exercising, you need to replenish those electrolytes and those salts and things like that. So this is not low sugar, as some people have complained about, per se. But where is that? Yeah, so, I mean, it's not insignificant. It's 21 grams when you get a full scoop. But you're putting that in a liter of water, and you're exerting yourself. You're exerting yourself. You're burning things off, so you need to replenish that and get your electrolytes back in there. So there is no such thing as a perfect product when it's in a box, right? If you had just a little bit of salt to your water and you like that, that's probably better off. But if you want something fruity, like an orange or a lemon lime, that's a great option for you. So let's just kind of recap some helpful ideas for you when you're out shopping if you can't make your bars at home, which is always the goal. Bars or snacks or whatever it might be. Avoid foods with label claims, as we mentioned. Make sure that they're not claiming that it's this, that, or the other, because they won't want you to know what's in there actually. Okay? If it says there's something missing, there's something in there that they don't want you to know about. Moving on, 5 ingredients or less. If you can find products that are 5 ingredients or less, I don't know of any bars off the top of my head that have 5 ingredients or less, or any snacks out there. Of course, people are like, oh, fruit snacks, it's fruit, right? But the problem is, I can't tell you how many kids are overloaded with sugar from fruit. And just because it's fructose and not glucose doesn't mean it's any better for you. Excess is excess. So avoid foods with label claims. 5 ingredients or less if you can find one. Certainly the least number possible. And as we mentioned last week, you got to be able to pronounce it. If you take it to your grandma and say, Grandma, what's this say? And she's like, well, Johnny, I have no idea. You don't want to eat it, okay? Because it's a chemical. It's a chemical compound and things like that. Avoid flour-based products. Don't eat anything that's made of flour or something that's been processed like an oat, because that's going to really spike your blood sugar and it's going to cause you to have an insulin reaction. We talked about the weight loss bars. Those are helpful only because they're lower in carbs and it's going to help stabilize your blood sugar. If you need carbs because you're exerting yourself in endurance athlete style, your estrum's over there, your enduro over here, that's what you're looking for. Eat real food when possible, right? Raw nuts are great. Sometimes you need to soak them to break down the kernel a little bit, like an almond is a harder kernel, things like that. But stay away from roasted, because when they're roasted, that means they've been highly heated. And when you highly heat a nut, what it does is it damages the fat, and because nuts are a lot of fat, really healthy fats when you're getting them raw and things like that. So you don't want to heat them, you don't want to roast them, because that's going to damage the fat. So then you put it in your body, you're giving your body a damaged oil, a damaged fat to work with and replenish your body with and repair your cells with. You don't want to give it something that's damaged to heal with. You want to give it the healthy stuff. Soak them if you need them, and then make them at home, right? So what you want to do is, again, I lean on Pinterest a lot. If I need to make a snack, make a bar, something like that I need to have, like if in between patients or something like that, or before and after, it's easy. All you got to do is set the time aside, and I'm just as guilty as every other human being on this planet. You do too much, you got too much on the plate, and eventually you're just exhausted and like, I just don't have time, so I'm just going to buy something. But even myself, I have to try and push myself back toward that, because then I'm guaranteeing what the ingredients are, how many are in there, the quantities that are in there, and I can experiment to see what do I get along with as far as combinations go. Maybe this combinations of seeds and nuts I get along with, maybe this one I don't. You got to learn, because your body's different than mine and everybody else's. So what works for me might not work for you, and vice versa. So just keep that in mind. So hopefully this has been beneficial as far as trying to clear away some of the misunderstandings as far as the food options for snacks are out there. Let us know what questions you have. Send us an email, send us a text to the cell phone here at the clinic. If you need us to know, like if you're out shopping, you're like, I wonder if this is a good one. Take a picture of it and send it to us. What's the number? I can't see that from here.
651.
There you go, 651.
728.
728.
1390.
1390. 728 1390?
Yep.
Okay, 651 728 1390. Send a text message, take a picture at the store, whatever you need. Let us know what kind of information you need. We're happy to help out. That's our mission here, is to be of service to you and give you the information you need and desire. Let us know what topics you'd like us to speak on, so we can provide that information so you feel like, oh man, I'm getting more value every day, every Wednesday, and we can start doing these every day if there's enough demand, that people get the information that they want, so that you clear the smoke out of the way. Get the questions answered so you feel empowered and confident in the choices you're making, all right? We hope this has been beneficial. Give us a thumbs up, share it with your friends and family so they can learn how to avoid the pitfalls of the food snacks out there. And we will look forward to seeing you next Wednesday for the Wednesday Wellness Minutes. Bye, everybody.